After Athens, you went to Bolivia to go and try and set the record.
Yeah, well, the only place in the world that I could feasibly break the record was Bolivia, and that was the reason for going to such a bizarre place to try and break the record. It was the highest track in the world, the least air resistance against the bike, and unfortunately missed it on the first day by a couple of tenths of a second, and then had to go 24 hours later and missed it by 5 thousandths. So it was frustrating, but I'm glad I went out there to at least have a proper attempt at it. And you know, it was unlikely I was ever going to ride that event again and be fit for that event again. So it was the only time I could really do it, and I don't regret going there. I had a fantastic time, and I came away with the 500-metre world record, which was a nice consolation, and met some great people and really thoroughly enjoyed the experience.
So in Manchester here, if you were to win a gold in the sprint, but maybe not perform so well in the keirin, would that change your focus going into Beijing?
The good thing is that the two events are very similar in terms of the training. For both events, you need to have a really high top end of speed. So the training wouldn't change too much. The only thing would be whether you prioritise, where they lie in the programme in terms of which races come first. I think the team sprint's first event up, then it's the keirin, and then it's the sprint at the end. So, you know, by the time you've raced for 5 days in a row, at the end of the sprint, you may not have the freshness in your legs. So, you know, cross that bridge when I come to it. It'd be a lovely position to be in if I was world champion in both individual events.
Well, he really is in sensational form. He beat the reigning world champion Theo Bos to make it into tonight's semi-finals. It's the best of 3 rides, and with his first ride, here's Gary Sutton and Hugh Porter.
So this is the lineup for Heat 1, Race 1 of the men's sprint semi-finals. On the inside, Chris Hoy. He really has got the race face on tonight. And alongside him from Italy, Roberto Chiappa. When Chiappa raced here in the World Championships in 2000, in the semi-finals, he was disqualified. He had a bit of an altercation with the Frenchman Laurent Gagné, and that occurred about 25 metres after the start line. Gagné was on the floor and he chased after Chiappa, and there was a little bit of rough stuff, and they both got DQ'd actually, but I don't expect to see any of that tonight. Now then, Chris Hoy just rolling away from position, 32-year-old Olympic kilometre champion, reigning world keirin champion, who switched disciplines absolutely magnificently. Now, we've been speculating a lot here, Gary Sutton and myself, on just how Hoy is going to handle Chiappa. Chiappa is a very clever tactician, very cute, and he's strong as well. But if Chris Hoy can keep him at bay and ride him from the front, I think Chiappa will really struggle to get round him. Been around a long time, the Italian. He is a former world junior sprint champion. That came way back in 1991, and he has been a world champion on the tandem. So this is a correct tactic by Chris Hoy. Keep him in the wheel and then turn on the gas, and Chiappa's going to be forced to have to really work hard to come round Hoy, who's on fire. And this is the tactic we were waiting for. Now here comes the challenge by Chiappa. He won't get past Hoy. Hoy wins race 1. And now the pressure is on the Italian. There's Carol, his mother, celebrating. It's already on the side of the track. That's the way to ride. He did the right thing.
He did it to perfection, actually. He needed to lead Chiappa out. He is the most experienced bike rider in this sprint competition. Chiappa tried to take the lead there at the start, but Chris Hoy too smart, too quick, and too much horsepower there going to the line. Well, you can see Chiappa starting to move, but making very little progress indeed. And Chris Hoy did it right. He went right to the red line, the sprinter's line, which you're allowed to. He did no interference whatsoever, kept it nice and clean, and that is so important.
Absolute textbook ride there. He's won by a clear length over Chiappa, and that is the first race clinched. And if he can tidy the next one up, he will be through to the final. Chris Hoy. These are the two competitors just rolling away from the start line in race 1, semi-final 2. It's an all-French affair, this. The man at the front, Kevin Siriu, in the white. He's the World Cup winner, and his opponent at the back, Michael Bourgain. Bourgain, the more experienced and the older of these two French competitors, 27 years of age, Bourgain, and Siriu just 20. Very quick, the World Cup winner at the front here. And he actually beat Chris Hoy 2-0 straight in the final of the World Cup last month in Ballerup in Copenhagen. He's also a European under-23 champion. Bourgain, he's been on the podium a couple of times in the sprint competition. He's won himself a bronze last year, and he won himself a silver back in 2005. He's also a 3-time World Team Sprint champion. But this youngster at the front, Siriu, very powerful. He rode a fantastic second lap in the World Team Sprint final when France clinched gold. Might be from the same country, but there'll be no quarter given here. Both will be very anxious to make it through to the final. Look at this for a tactic. Bourgain is trying to keep out of sight of Siriu, and that means when he unloads the gear, he will have the advantage and the greater height. And there we are. It reflects perfect tactic there by Bourgain, and he's established a clear daylight between himself and the young Frenchman, the young fellow countryman, I should say. And now there's work to do for Siriu. He's not going to do it. Oh, he's going to do it. I said how quick he was, but I didn't think he was that quick. I think he got it, it'll be close, but the speed of that young Frenchman, staggering in the closing stages, unbelievable. So that gives him race 1, and now Bourgain, his teammate, is going to have to get the textbook out. Here's the closing stages.
Well, I rate him off there. I thought Bourgain looked a certainty there, and when he took the front, looked nice and strong down the back straight, but what a great burst of speed that last 50 metres, and that's why you should never give in. He's still fighting there in second position, starting to move around the outside, and Bourgain just starting to get a little bit tired. But how quick is this man in the last 50 metres? He took advantage of the banking as well there. Went nice and high there to get full advantage of that, and just wins by about a half a wheel there on the line. There was 1,000th of a second between them in qualifying, so very little between the two of them. But at the end of the day, it's not about qualifying, it's about winning.
There's the result confirmed. Final 200 metres, 10.4. That's always shown in sprinting to give you an idea of just how quick the riders have pulled over the concluding stages.
We know that there will be one Frenchman at least in that final. And alongside me, Jamie Staff, one of the team members of the sprint team, who works, of course, with Chris Hoy. And I know we're impressed with the speed of Ciro there, but very impressed with Chris Hoy's form.
Yeah, he looked really good. He took control on that race. I think that's what the coaches were telling him earlier on. He's just got to go out there and take control of the race. Don't let the other guy, dictate what he's going to do, and that's what he did. I even sent him a text message yesterday. It's like, give him some, a bit more confidence, and he went out there and showed very confident, in that ride just there. I
saw Jan van Eyden, the sprint coach, and Ian Dyer talking to him when he came back into the pen there. What will they be saying to him after that ride?
Good ride, probably. I'm not sure. I probably just let him, obviously, to take in what's just happened. Obviously, give him confidence in that ride he's just done. So I'm sure he'd be riding a high right now, but obviously the job's not done, so he's got to go out there and do it again. He took the front there, and I know the other rider likes the front, so maybe that was his game plan to just, take over the other rider's tactics. But he did a great job, and I'm sure he'll again.
Another great night in the velodrome, great atmosphere, and I see Prince Edward's actually making his way around. I think he's just had a quick word with Chris Hoy, but I think Chris has probably got his head down, just trying to concentrate and not be distracted by his royal visitor.
Yeah, it could be a bit better timing, but what do you do for royalty?
Well, he's got plenty to cheer about tonight, of course, because we'll see the women pursuit team in the gold medal race very shortly. They've set a sensational time in qualifying, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I mean, they had such a hard job. They were first off in a brand new event, so it's very hard for them to dictate how fast they're going to go. So the coach obviously knew how well the riders were going to ride, and he set a good pace, and they ended up being first qualifying, so that's great. Another gold medal potential.
Of course, they've got the best and the fourth best pursuitists in the world in their team, Wendy Hoovenagel, teaming up with Rebecca Romero and Joe Rousel. And it's important that they can both back it up today after such tough rides in the individual pursuit yesterday, Rebecca and Wendy Hoovenagel.
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely got their work cut out, but obviously, these guys train all the time. They train for this, to back it up. And quite often the day after an event, especially Rebecca being on a high, I'm sure she's just going out there and just running on adrenaline, and she's just going to go out there and with so much determination to win another medal. So that's definitely going to help her along. We just hope that Joe Rousel can keep up with the pace, but I'm sure she'll be fine.
She certainly seemed to do that, no problem in the qualification. We'll see them in about 5 minutes' time in that gold-silver ride-off. But first we've got the bronze medal race, so here's Gary and Hugh.
And I'm really looking forward to it as well. I can tell you, Jill, we're going to have a real ding-dong battle for the gold and silver, and this contest for the bronze could be equally as interesting. It's between Germany and Belarus, and there was just over a second between them in qualification this morning. Germany are starting in the home straight, the team of Charlotte Becker, Verena Jus and Alexandra Sontheimer, and their opponents in the back straight are Belarus, And we have two 19-year-olds in their team, Aliusic, Papko and Sharakova. As I said, just over a second between these two teams in qualification this morning. It's 12 laps of the track. This is a brand new event in the World Championships. It has been taking place in the World Cup competition, and it is really exciting, and it is good to see that the women have now got their own team pursuit discipline. It runs slightly different to the men's in so much as all three riders do have to complete the distance, whereas in the men's event the time is taken on the third rider, so they can each lose a squad. We saw some very good team pursuiting this morning, good technique, and just for the record, let me tell you, Germany qualified third in 3:28.5 and Belarus were 3:29.87.
I don't really agree with the system. I think it's great, the team's pursuit, but I honestly believe it should be 4 women, not 3. I think it's a really tough call, first time into the competition, taking on the third rider. I mean, it's always difficult. They've got to start somewhere, but I mean, the men, you're at it. It's a big advantage when you've got 4 competitors there and it's taken on the third. You've got a little bit of leeway to make a little bit of a mistake, but anyway, that's the way it is.
The only problem there, of course, Gary, is there's not every nation has got the strength in depth with women's racing to be able to put 4 together.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, good skills here at the moment. They look quite nice. There's very little between them in that first kilometre. They in the qualifying, as you mentioned, they went through with around about 0.2 of a second difference between them. And we'll get the times as they come through this time.
Let me just tell you, in the qualification this morning, Germany were the quickest in the opening kilometre of 1:11.640, and they have replicated the ride once again, 1:11.652. So it's a good start here by the team of Germany. The racing here tonight being watched by Prince Edward.
Germany looking a little bit better at this stage. Their technique's a little bit better. They've probably spent a little bit more time training for this event. And at the end of the day, you've got to finish with 3. Enormous pressure. You would get the stronger ones doing a little bit longer turns here, going a little bit further into the bend.
Sitting the bikes well and holding a good line. That's always the quality of pursuiting. You need to try and stay as close to that back line as possible, find the shortest route around the track. And that's pretty good. They're tight, aren't they? Close together. And it could go either way at the moment. The bronze medal, you cannot pick a winner at the moment. Well, nobody stamped their authority on it significantly enough to say that that's where the bronze is going, although at the moment Germany are now beginning to raise the pace slightly. 2:18.9 at the 2-kilometre mark, so they're faster than their ride this morning, and 2:18.9 is only just 0.4 off the time of Great Britain, who set a world best in the qualification.
Yes, they're looking a little bit better, but still, there's a long way to go. 3 laps to go. And the gap's just starting to open up a little bit, but Germany, they're looking a little bit stronger at this stage. Looking very comfortable for the bronze medal. But they need to keep it together. You can't afford your strong person on the front there to go too hard if it splits.
Well, it looks as though they've cracked the opposition, the team from Belarus, and Germany have dropped their foot on the pedal. They'll get the bell this time, and this is a nice, useful cushion to work in, and this could well be the bronze medal going to Germany. No problem, 1 lap to go, 250 metres remaining, and it's stretched out to 2.4 seconds. It's all over. The German trio are coming up the crown of the bend now and lining up for the run at the line, and the bronze medal is going to Germany. Here are finishing time, 3:26.960. Very good time indeed. That is a national record for the nation of Germany, and that is the 3rd quickest time posted so far. Very good team pursuiting by Germany.
They look good right from the start. Spent quite a bit of time preparing for this event by the looks of them. And a lot of pressure when I mean, it's taken on the third rider. I know we mentioned it earlier, but an excellent start there indeed. And the coach is still starting to get a bit of a feel for this being a new event. I mean, it's always tough when you bring 3 ladies together. The skills are very good, actually. They sit nice and close to the wheel. I thought the gaps may have been a little bit bigger. We see the senior men, they sit within 1 centimetre of the wheel in front of them, which is tough. And here the German coach just egging his riders on there with 1 lap to go. He knows they're looking good. And you can see starting to get tired there. The third rider normally makes a big move underneath. They haven't mastered the finish yet, but at the end of the day, they've got the bronze medal.
So the first medal decided, and it's gone to Germany. The colour is bronze, and their time 3:26.9, and that is a national record for Germany. This is the this is the team from Great Britain, I should say, just preparing now, ready for the final of this 3,000-metre team pursuit. The team of Great Britain will be led off by Wendy Hoofenagel, who has finished 4th in the individual pursuit title in the last 2 years. Absolutely guaranteed her first world medal here. Is it going to be gold or is it going to be silver? Hoofenagel will lead off, followed by Joanna Rousel, a Londoner, making a debut in the World Championships, and the anchor lap, or the third position, I should say, will be Rebecca Romero. They're riding against the winners of the World Cup, that is Ukraine, and their team is Bochkarova, Kalitovska and Shulika. 0.84 of a second between them in the qualification round, with Great Britain setting a world best mark. So the ingredients of this are very spicy. We can expect a real good scrap. But Great Britain rode to a schedule this morning of 3:25, and they delivered. Their time was 3:25.7, and they're fired up for this one.
Yeah, look, there's going to be very little between this. Both teams will improve a lot. There's some big gaps there right from the start. And this is where it's a bit nerve-wracking here. You can't afford to go out too quick, or you will pay the penalty in that last kilometre. Great Britain just a little bit slower there at the start. They'll claw their way back. They rely on the coach on the inside to let them know exactly where they are.
Well, Ukraine were a tad quicker than Great Britain in the opening 4 laps in qualification this morning. Nothing to worry about, but Great Britain now need to settle down. The coach on the side of the track will be giving them their instructions. That's Dan Hunt. But at the moment, Ukraine have started slightly quicker.
I think Great Britain are looking a little bit better as it goes on here. Ukraine starting to move around a little bit. Just need to close out. You need to sit in that area, get as close as possible into that slipstream. They're still 0.2 of a second down.
Opening kilometre, both recording 1:10. It's quick. That's faster than the world best time established in the heats. And the strength of the Great Britain team is quite staggering. They've got Romero, the world individual pursuit champion, Hoofenagel, who is the 4th place in that competition, and young Joanna Rousel was 5th in the European Under-23 individual pursuit title. So once they get their second wind and settle down to the technique, I think that they will eradicate the early advantage that Ukraine have established. As I speak, it's already done. They're trailing by 0.5 now, Ukraine.
Well, the crowd starting to lift here, and the Great Britain team are doing the same. They've opened up a good gap here. You've got to be very careful here. They can't afford to go too hard. They're fighting on. They're looking better as it goes. A little bit of a gap starting to open up there at third wheel. Dan, the coach, have been very nervous, but Great Britain looking good. This time when they come round, they'll get 4 laps to go.
Let's take a look at the 2-kilometre mark. Here they come now. The split time is 2:16.084. They're absolutely flying. That over 2 seconds quicker than their time this morning. Well, Great Britain are hoovering up the gold medals here in these World Championships, and the way it's looking now, they're setting themselves up for gold medal number 5. They've got the bit between their teeth now, and they're sighting the World Cup winners. Almost got them in the same straight. What a performance this is by Great Britain.
Well, looking better and better, and it's all over. They're going to certainly take the goal here. Still a way to go. They've got 2 laps. The coach egging them on from the inside.
But Ukraine are fragmenting. The strong riders going away from the other 2, and they're buckling under the pressure. So Great Britain are eating the ground up now between themselves and Ukraine. It's the bell this time, and this is going to be gold medal number 5. They're fired up for this, the British trio. Flying around the well of the track now, and the crowd are already standing in the back straight. There's another ovation beginning to unfold. Here they come, the 3 victorious British riders up to the line. They stop the clock at 3:22.4, a new world best mark, and the gold medal is theirs, and the celebrations are beginning again. Dan Hunt, the coach, just congratulating Shane Sutton. They're all in on the congratulatory party, and that is is the second gold medal for Rebecca Romero. It just gets better and better. Honestly, Gary, this is astonishing.
Well, look at the standing ovation here, and that's the way it should be. The coaching staff there all congratulating each other for all the hard stuff is done on the track. And this is, look at this magnificent moment here for these young ladies. Well, it just gets better and better, as you said. I mean, the
3:22.
time.
What a time.
Well, you know, I mean, they've knocked 3 seconds off their qualifying time there, and they come out under enormous pressure here at this great complex here in Manchester. So, another magic moment for the Great Britain cycling team. Great start as well, and that's where it's so important. I mean, as I mentioned before the start, enormous pressure when you've got only 3 starters. It's taken on the third rider, but they did it to perfection. The coach did it to perfection as well. They rely so much on him on the inside of the velodrome, and look, they look like they've been doing it for years.
The thing I liked about it as well, Gary, is they took their time in the opening kilometre, okay, then they settled down, and once they got the rhythm, their technique was first class.
Yeah, well, what impressed me, some were doing shorter turns, longer turns. You see there the gap starting to open up, but it really doesn't matter because that is at the end of the bike race, and to record that time at 3:22.41 is absolutely staggering.
Well, how many gold medals are we going to get? We had 7 in Mallorca. We're only just 2 shy of it now. The kind of images that you love to see when hands are being raised or arms in the air with a salute. That's Rebecca Romero, the former silver medalist from the Olympics for sculling, and now she's got 2 gold medals for cycling. As a result, officially confirmed, Great Britain are the winners in a new world best time of 3:22.415.
Well, the golds just keep on rolling in. There they are, Great Britain top of that track cycling World Championships medal table. 5 gold medals, and of course the silver from the opening night and the team sprint. So a terrific performance from Great Britain, and quite rightly so. The women's pursuit team are enjoying the moment out there on the track. They've done, I think, 3 or 4 laps of honour, just soaking up the atmosphere here. They've got terrific support in Manchester. Jamie Staff, terrific to see that. You know, the place was wild again, on their feet. Really gutsy performance from the girls there.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a brand new event, and I know the girls haven't trained too much together. They've obviously been focusing on their individual events, so they've had very limited time together, and to come together in this manner has been fantastic. And to go out there and knock an extra couple of seconds off their qualifying ride is just unbelievable. So
we've been talking about it being a world best time, 3:22. That is a world record. The reason we talk about it being a world best is not an established event, but that's the marker they've set down now, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. That's there for everyone else to beat. So yeah, if that was me, I'd definitely be saying it's a brand new world record. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how many hours does it take for a team to get those transitions like that? They looked very smooth, and you could see the Ukrainians becoming a little bit ragged. Just how much work goes into getting it looking as smooth as that?
A lot. I mean, the guys spent hour after hour of practicing the manoeuvres. So for these girls, with the very limited time they've had to actually go out there and, you know, do as well as they did is absolutely phenomenal. So they've done a great job, and they can only go upwards from now.
What an incredible couple of days for Rebecca Romero. Her feet really just haven't touched the ground. She was all over the newspapers today. Everybody wants to talk to Rebecca Romero about the switch from rowing to cycling, but she has the aura of a world champion about her. She has the aura of an Olympic champion about her.
Yeah, she does, and hopefully she will be, touch wood. But yeah, she's a great athlete, as you saw yesterday, and she just proved that again today. It's been phenomenal.
Trying to get them off the track at the moment because there's Shane Sutton, the coach, he's just popped along as well. He's just told me they've claimed the world record. You have to claim a world record, apparently. So there, did you know that, Jamie?
I didn't, but there you go.
No, Shane Sutton's keeping us right. He's just told us that they have claimed that world record, and rightly so. So here they come. They're being shepherded in to our commentary position. I'm delighted to say the 3 girls are being congratulated by Dave Brailsford, the performance director for British Cycling, and Shane Sutton, who's obviously thrilled. It's a terrific performance, and they look as though they could go and do it all again. Great to see. Well done. Congratulations. Here you are again, Rebecca. Another World Championship. Joe, congratulations. I'm going to start with Wendy, because you were the gate leader there. You set the pace early on. How did it feel?
It felt really exhilarating, actually. Once we got going and up to speed, it's just a case of keeping that speed and trying to push on towards the end. And getting up to speed can be a little bit difficult, and it's important to get back on the wheel once you've delivered the team. So that was what I was really focusing on, not to let Joe run away with the team and leave me standing after the start. So from that perspective, I'm really happy with how our rides went, and it's just been fantastic.
Fantastic, and your first World Championship medal. Rebecca, you're second.
What a buzz. I can't take this for the second day in a row. Whoa, awesome. We were phenomenal out there. We've had minimal preparation. We hadn't even done a race run through together. We went out there, a bit edgy on our first ride earlier this morning, but didn't have to get through. And that ride was just, we stonked it there. And yeah, it was awesome. Brilliant. But come on, this is the girl that's done it.
Joe!
Didn't she held her own there?
I'm so happy to join with these two girls who are such good individually. To step up to their level is just amazing, and then to break our best time twice as well today.
Only
That was
12
amazing.
or something like that.
19.
19 years old and a world champion. It's terrific. And I saw you sitting there before the race, trying to stay focused. There were cameras pointing at all of you. Just how do you manage to maintain that focus?
It was really nerve-wracking, but I'm just thinking about the process, what I've got to do. I know where my position is and what turns I've got to do, so I'm just focusing on that, doing my job, delivering the team at speed. So.
And how much are you enjoying being part of this British cycling team at the moment? Top of this medal table, of course, with 5 gold medals now.
It's fantastic. Team GB has been so successful in track cycling especially, and to come into this setup and be a part of it has been amazing. I've had a really great time.
Well, you've done us proud, and all of 3 of you, congratulations, well done. I'll let you go and catch your breath, and I think there's a queue forming of people wanting to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. Now, I think we'll go back to one of the fastest men on the track now, because Chris Hoy is in action in his second ride of his semi-final in the men's sprint. Here's Gary and Hughes.
This is race 2 in the men's sprint semi-final, and Chris Hoy has won race 1, so now Roberto Chiappa has got to take this if he wants to force the issue to a decider. Chiappa, tactically a very, very cute operator, and Chris Hoy used his awesome power in race 1. He got the head of the race, and he was not going to allow Chiappa to get round him. Now this is more of a tactic that will favour Chiappa with the front position. So Chris Hoy is really blowing hot. His morale is sky high. He knows he can beat this man, and if he can get through to the final, that's exactly what his fellow Scot did in 2006, Craig McLean, when he raced through Boss in Bordeaux. We'll know at the end of this lap. Here he comes. Now watch him close down on Chiappa, but can he get round him? The Italian, the big powerful shouldered Italian, is turning the screw here, but here comes Chris Hoy down the outside, and Hoy takes it. The awesome power of the Olympic kilometre champion wins the day, and Chris Hoy is through to the World Sprint Final, beating Roberto Chiappa 2-0 straight. You couldn't ask for a better message than that.
Well, he did everything right there, gave good distance going down the back straight, and just made a fantastic run at him, and that's the way you need to do it when you're up against a guy like Chiappa, who's the most experienced person in the bike race. Well, what a final we're in for here, but I think Chris Hoy, too much speed there. He did everything right, backed off around about 10 metres. He did this in the earlier rounds as well, and now he starts to make his move nice and smooth. Nothing's wasted, just all the power goes into the bike. Just starting to make his move. Chiappa did everything right, went up to the red sprinters line, actually went out of it, so probably would have been disqualified anyway. He knew he had to take him nice and high, but Chris just too much bank, a good run off the bank there, sat up 20 metres out and just said, look, here, this is the best is yet to come. That was great.
He's even got time to celebrate. The old clenched fist. It's over a bike length advantage on the line. Chris Hoy is through to the World Sprint Final. Well, the rider at the back here is Frenchman Siriu, 20 years of age. Just to reiterate my earlier comment, in competition he's wearing the white jersey because he's the winner of the World Cup. And at the front, fellow Frenchman and his teammate from the team sprint, in the first round, Mikhail Bourgain. Sirio won race 1 with an awesome display of power. Bourgain led out, tactically rode it perfectly, but the young Frenchman, oh, so much power, he just flicked the throttle in the closing meters and got round Bourgain.
Well, he needs to try something different here, and probably what he's doing there is the best thing to do. Keep him on the fence. Oh, a little bit of an elbow there, but keep him high, try and keep him on the fence, but I think he might just have too much speed. Yeah, look, they're getting quicker and quicker. It'll be an accelerator. Oh, a little bit of a nudge. He's doing everything right. And this is the only way he's going to beat him is keep him nice and high.
Well, with 1 lap to go, Bourgain trying to lead out now. Then can Sirio get round him? Oh, there was almost a collision there. Now they're bumping bars and shoulder to shoulder down the back straight. Here comes young Sirio round the outside of Bourgain. Has he got the power to do it? The answer to that is, ooh, yes, I would say he has. But it was very close, and I think a side shot will confirm the distance. But he is convinced that he's got it, and that means it sets up a final between Chris Hoy and young Gavin Sirio. Yes, there it is, and that final will be a repeat of the World Cup sprint final that took place just a month ago in Ballerup in Copenhagen. And on that occasion, well, this fellow got the gold medal, beating Chris Hoy. Well, Chris will have learnt a lot from that, and he'll be out to reverse the positions.
Bourgain doing everything right here. I mean, at the end of the day, just didn't have the speed and the strength and the power. Even went high there, and that is great sprinting. But just starting to lose a little bit here. I thought he might fight back a little bit underneath here, but there was no interference, no touching of elbows. There certainly won't be any problems there, or they do touch elbows there. Bourgain just going a little bit high, but it didn't interfere with the result. Just too much speed the last 20, 30 metres there.
Now there it is, the result confirmed, and Sirio wins 2-0 to go through to the final. There was just...
Well, the women's successful pursuit team are still standing behind us here doing interviews. It's amazing when you win how much energy you seem to have left, able to talk to the assembled masses, but quite rightly so, relishing their win. That was a very, very impressive performance from Chris Hoy, Jamie, wasn't it?
Yeah, he did. He totally took control of that race. I definitely think he was faster than Chiappa, but and I was surprised, actually. I thought Chiappa would kind of push him around the track a little more than he did. And it seemed like a pretty straightforward ride for Chris. I mean, coming from behind for Chris, that's just what we do in training, and it suited Chris down to the ground.
OK, it doesn't stop the action here at the Velodrome. It's Victoria Pendleton in the sprint who's now out in the track. Let's join Gary and Hugh.
Well, you haven't missed anything, Jill. The two here in quarter-final number 1 are just rolling round 3/4 of the first lap completed. The early stages, it is Yvonne Hagenaar at the front from the Netherlands, a 22-year-old. And, of course, at the back, it is the queen of the track herself, Victoria Pendleton, looking to nail her 3rd World Sprint title. And from what I've seen by the time trial round, where she went sub-11, the quickest time ever recorded in 200 metres in the time trial and the qualification, then I can't see anybody in the field capable of beating her. She's sailed through the early rounds to come to this quarter-final position without having any, she hasn't been stretched, I should say, at all. Now then, Hagenaar, while she's a very good competitor, will not, in my opinion, have the answer here to contain Pendleton. Now then, here she comes, Victoria Pendleton. She's just waiting her moment before she really does turn on the power. This is Hagenaar fully committed. Here comes Pendleton. Now just watch this. It's almost effortless. She's now coached, of course, by the former junior German world champion. That's Jan van Aerten. It's just so easy, isn't it? 11.804, the closing 200, 60 k's per hour. Let's forget about that. It doesn't matter. It's all about beating your opponent. Victoria Pendleton wins race 1 with ease.
Well, she did make it look easy, but at the end of the day, you still have to be switched on. But, I mean, the speed and the strength that she has, good distance there. When she decided to make a move, it was like just dropping it into top gear and let's go, get it out of the way. And she did it with ease around the outside there. She knows that she's in control here. just goes a little bit further into the bend, then she drops it back and just oozes off there. She knows that she's fairly comfortable as she takes it, but just starts to sit up there.
Gary, she's slender in build as well for a sprinter, isn't she? But she's just so quick.
Well, there's not much of her. I wouldn't say that she'd be a jockey, but she's very light indeed. And you know, we're so used to seeing these sprinters being big and bulky,
Yeah.
and I mean, she is just so quick. I mean, that performance of hers in the qualifying, that was like to me, that's a world record.
I couldn't agree more, because the world record, which is only a few hundredths quicker, was done in the Moscow track with the it's twice as wide actually as a standard track, and the steepness of the banking enables the riders to get that gear, get around them quite easily. Now this is race 1 of heat 2 of the women's sprint quarterfinals. Nearest to us, it is Xuang Gao of China, and her opponent is Clara Sanchez from France. Xuang Gao of China was winner of the silver medal in the world titles last year. She's the Asian Games sprint champion, and she's got a raft of gold medals for junior level in her trophy cabinet. Now Sanchez, she's been around a little bit. She's a former world keirin champion. She's won that on a couple of occasions, and of course she could be one of the competitors that could be trying to dethrone Victoria Pendleton when it comes to the keirin. That's of course later in the championships, but this is going to be an interesting sprint.
Well, what I like about Sanchez is her aggression. She's not afraid to mix it. She takes full advantage of the banking. Gao is not the most experienced bike rider in the competition. She's certainly got a great burst of speed. But Sanchez, just the way she rides, I just get the feeling she does train with the men in training and training camps. She's a good tactician, but whether she can produce it here or not, you know, watch a little bit of balancing here. They're only allowed to do this for 30 seconds.
Ooh, Gao nearly fell off.
We nearly got the whistle there. You can see the commissaire in the background there just getting his watch ready.
I think we just should have explained to viewers why they're doing this, Gary. The reason they do things like that is they try to outmaneuver each other till one of the riders feels they're in the better position to either spring a surprise or go for it flat out to try and deny the other competitor a chance of winning. This is the reason that there's all this cat and mouse early tactic. Gao leading out. She's decided that that's the position she wants to be in then, and it is Xuang Gao of China now beginning to turn the screw at the front and trying to get on terms. It's Clara Sanchez, the specialist at the keirin. Now then, can she get onto the side of Gao? No, Gao of China takes race 1. So the young Chinese competitor wins race 1. And she's going to be one that will be fired up when she rides in the Olympic Games in Beijing.
Well, they're getting better and better all the time. Now, here we just see a little bit shaky on the bottom there. Started to go down all over. So,
and you're not allowed to roll backwards, are you?
No, or otherwise it's, they take you back to the start again. Sanchez looking fairly good here. Starts to make a move, but what everyone's getting caught out. The straights are very short here compared to a lot of tracks. And Sanchez at one stage I thought may make it around the outside. Looking fairly good here, but it's all over in no time. Now they're from China. They're getting better and better, the Chinese. They're now being coached by Daniel Morlon, one of the great coaches of all time. And I actually thought Sanchez was looking good here, but just too much strength and power there in the Chinese competitor. So Sanchez one heat down.
Work to do then for the Frenchwoman. There's the result confirmed. Gao of China takes race 1. Riders on the line preparing now for heat 3. Race 1, Simona Krupakaita of Lithuania, starting on the inside. And the winner of the World Cup for the sprint, her opponent there, that's Krupakaita, but her opponent is Willie Canis. She is the World Cup winner of the sprint competition. Now, Willie Canis is twice a World BMX champion, and she could have been one of the competitors to line up against Sinead Reid of Great Britain to try and clinch gold in Beijing, but Canis has decided to concentrate fully here on the track. She is quick. She's the one of the fastest gate women in the team sprint competition, but amazingly the Netherlands didn't put a team out in the team sprint, and they won a silver medal last year. Canis riding with Hagenaar.
Yeah, just Obviously pottering there at the moment. I'll move up the track shortly. You normally go into these sprint races with one or two options, or not one, but two options. Whether you like to lead out or come from behind, that's a decision you make with the coach. So just at rolling pace at the moment. Most of them like to go a little bit high. Some like to stay on the bottom and just get quicker and quicker, as Chris Hoy did earlier against Chiappa. That was sprinting at its best. Great tactics, and that's what's happening here. They're staying nice and low at this stage.
Krupakaita has ridden well in the early stages, and Canis needs to be vigilant here, because she has set her stall out to try and win this world title. She's going to have to deal with Victoria Pendleton, of course, but Krupakaita will give her a run for her money, I tell you. So at the front then, Krupakaita beginning to inject pace, and Canis is going to have to work hard to come all the way round. She came out of the sprinter's line, Krupakaita there. Canis is not going to do it. Krupakaita takes race one. Well, I was talking to the British camp earlier on after the early rounds of this women's sprint, and they said that they felt one of the dangers was going to be Krupakaita, and their fears were certainly confirmed in that. Was it okay with the sprinter's line?
It was a fine line. I think it'll be fairly good. There was no rubbing shoulders or no movement there, but Krupakaita just goes out a little bit, goes back in. It's only in the early stages. Only touched elbows there. Riding that red line, you've got to be careful you don't go too far out. If you do go out, you basically have to stay out, or you can move back in as long as it doesn't interfere. Fine line, no interference there. I think that'll be safe.
It didn't take the line away from Canis, so I think that will definitely stand.
Krupakaita there, she's so strong in that last bit. A time of 11.6 for the last 200, which is very, very good indeed.
So it does stand. The computer here is indicating that there wasn't a problem there. Had she have come out of the line more, and then Canis, of course, passage down the finishing straight had been obstructed, she would have been DQ'd. So there it is. Krupakaita wins Heat 3, Race 1. It's a nice advantage to have, just of confidence, and now Canis will have to go away and talk it through with the coach, but I think she's got her work cut out. Now onto the track, one of the most exciting youngsters that's been around for a long time, and this is Lysandra Guerra Rodriguez from Cuba, starting on the outside. Already got one gold medal in her pocket. She won the 500-meter time trial. There she is, and she's one of only two women that can go inside 34 seconds for the two-lap sprint. Youngster, she's 20 years of age. Her opponent, pretty experienced, Jenny Reed from the United States of America. She's 9 years, Guerra Rodriguez senior. But she has no fear, this youngster. She won't be phased at all by any reputation. She'll have a crack at trying to dispose of Reed, and I tell you what, I think she'll do it.
She's very, very quick, as we've already seen in this competition. Jenny Reed, to me, is the one that I think she's the big improver the last 2 years, year and a half. She's a lot stronger, and she's been racing all over the world just to try and get that race experience as well. I've actually tipped her here to probably upset quite a few of them, more so in the Keirin than the sprint. I just feel that she's strong over 500 metres, so time will tell, but at the moment she's doing everything right, but she's also up against one of the quickest young ladies in the world.
And let me just tell you also, back in 2005, Guerra Rodriguez was the World Junior Sprint Champion. She beat Great Britain's Anna Blythe on that occasion, I remember it.
Come around this time to get the bell. Jenny Reed's got to be very careful. She doesn't stay too high too long.
It's just an announcement coming in, which I'll tidy up after the conclusion of this, Gary, but that slender margin of moving out of the sprinter's line has cost Krupakaita that first race. She's been relegated, so Canis has been awarded it. Now let me see what it's going to be here. Well, I thought Rodriguez would get this, but she's not going to get it, and Jenny Reed gets race 1. From the United States of America, then, race 1 in Heat 4 of the women's sprint quarterfinals goes to Jenny Reed. And let me just once again, I'll tidy that up in a moment. Here are the closing stages.
Yeah, look, again, doing everything right. As I mentioned, Jenny Reed, she's been racing all around the world to get this little bit of extra experience. She was fairly raw 2 seasons ago, getting stronger and stronger. Catches the opponent on the hip there, and it's all over. She's getting better and better as this competition goes on.
So there are the closing stages then of the The fourth heat here, race one, and you can see that the American Jetty Reid has maintained her advantage, and young Guerra Rodriguez failing to get on terms. Now then, let me just tell you what the result is of the race I was talking about, and I can tell you that Canis has now been given the result in Heat 3. Krupa Kaituru came out of the sprinters line. It was marginal, you can see that, and it certainly, in my opinion, did not stop Canis being able to come down and still have a crack at trying to win. But obviously it has been perceived to be a breaking of the rules, and so therefore the result has been reversed, and it means now that Willie Canis has won race one. I think that's a little harsh, but there you go.
Well, a man who's got plenty to smile about this week is Dave Brailsford, the performance director for British Cycling. And you also had a bit of a smile on your face there when you heard Krupa Kaita had lost that race, because I think you see her as a real threat in the women's sprint.
Yeah, today I think out of all the girls we've seen so far, I think she's probably the best that we've seen, and quite easily took Canis there. But to get disqualified in that one puts Canis right back in it, and we'll see where we go from there.
Now, what about this week? Here we are, day 3, 5 gold medals. I'm frightened to say, have we peaked too soon?
No. We always race to win. You know, we had a strategy through the winter. We've been to all the World Cups. We run around the world, and we weren't at our best, you know. And everybody else, I think, was really trying hard through the World Cups. We didn't go to LA. We missed that one out, and we came here, whole crowd got to win. You know, we raced to win, and the pressure was on, and I think we delivered the goods, to be honest.
And tonight, of course, the women's pursuit team looking in sensational form, setting that incredible time. And Chris Hoy looking in good form, Victoria Pendleton. What else can we expect tonight? Do you think Chris can win this one?
It would be a surprise. I think Chris has got the capability, but he'll be up against a real good French guy. And so it's going to be a real battle in the final. Vicky's looking fantastic. She's on great form. Mentally, she's absolutely on it. She's on fire. But I'm particularly happy for young Joe Rousel in the team pursuit. We didn't compete. We deliberately didn't compete to any of the World Cups with our team pursuit. We knew we'd get in the World Championships because it's at home Worlds. So the first time they've actually competed in reality, as it were, was this morning qualifying. They set a new world record. They got up this afternoon. They knew it was going to be a close run thing, and set a new world record again. And for Joe Rousel, she's found a niche. That is her event. She is absolutely phenomenal. So it's good news.
And looking back over the last couple of days, what's pleased you most? I know that you were thrilled to see that the men's pursuit team set that new world record. We actually saw you leaping up and down at one stage, and I know you don't often do that. So was that the icing on the cake?
I think that the most important thing for us, we've been put up against it here. You know, the young Dutch kid came out and did a 16 against Brad, qualified faster than Brad. It's a long time since Brad's been put under that kind of pressure. So his back was to the wall, you know. He's got to come out at night and show if he's got that true warrior capability, and he had it. And he delivered the goods, you know. Likewise with the team pursuit guys, to get the Danish doing a 3:57 is unbelievable. And then to have to come out and know you have to break the world record to win, and coming up and stepping up, it's good to be under that kind of pressure. To be honest, we've been easy winning by a couple of seconds, you know, overall. So to be put, you know, really have our backs against the walls and to come out and win from there has been the biggest thing I can take from this so far.
So this team are in incredible form at the moment. They're winning. Can they win come August? Can you replicate the success of the World Championships at the Olympics?
I don't know. I mean, the rest of the world's catching up for sure. You know, the competition here has been fiercer than it's been all year. And we know what we're going to do conditioning-wise. We know what our preparation is. We're going into Beijing. We know exactly what we're going to do more or less every day between now and Beijing. And we'll go there in the form of our lives, and we'll give it everything we've got, and we'll see on the day whether it's good enough to win or not.
Well, we hope so too. We're about to see another former world champion for Great Britain on the track, Mark Cavendish. He's had a phenomenal season on the road. And what do you expect from him in this one?
Well, Mark's had a great year on the road. You know, he came to us through the winter. He hadn't got great form. He did okay. He's been back on the road and got some big tours on his legs, and he's not here. He wasn't originally here to ride a points race. Chris Newton's meant to be riding this race, who's obviously broke his collarbone just before the Worlds. Good luck, Chris. Hope you're getting better, because this was his event. But Mark's a hell of a rider, and let's see how he gets on, because I think if he gets it right, he could surprise a few people here.
Okay, thanks very much indeed. I'll let you go and get into the middle so you can watch this race. The points race, of course, a combination of sprints and endurance, so it's suited to a tough competitor like Mark Cavendish. Let's hear what he's got to say about this event.
World Championship level, you know, the race is 40 kilometres or 160 laps of the track. Normally it's about 20 riders on the track, maybe 24 riders. There's one per nation, which so there's no teamwork involved, you know, it's completely every man for himself. The sprint's every 10 laps, so it's not necessarily the first ride across the line on the last lap. It's you get 5, 3, 2 and 1 points, whether you're first or fourth position every 10 laps. And the person with the total amount of points at the end of the 160 laps is a winner. But if you gain a lap on the field, then you get 20 extra points to go towards your total. It's a test of endurance as well as your speed.
Well, he's one of the real characters of the British track team, Mark Cavendish. They're out on the track now, ready for this points race. It's 160 laps of the track. That's 40 kilometres, so it'll take them about 45 minutes. So we'll see the start of the race here on BBC Two, but alas, we won't see the finish, but you will be able to see the finish, of course, if you stay with us on Interactive. So let's get this one underway and join Gary Sutton and Hugh Porter.
Phil just waiting then to roll out for the start of this points race, and there is Mark Cavendish. I'm just wondering what he's going to do in this. He's got the Madison on his mind for tomorrow, so we'll be looking to try and capitalise on the experienced points race ride. So there's the lineup. We've got Cameron Mayer, one of the youngsters from Australia, and I tell you, he can turn a nifty pedal in a points race. Ilio Kaiser from Belgium, he's won 6 days this winter, and look who is there, Esteban Arango from Colombia, a good bike rider, and Kadalec of the Czech Republic. There's Mark Cavendish, he's carrying race number 11, but one of the hot favourites, the undisputed king of the points race with number 9, that's Johan Linares, who has been the Olympic champion and 4 times the world champion, and Wong Campo there, number 13 from Hong Kong, who won the world scratch race last year, deciding to go for the points this time. The talented Kiwi Greg Henderson, number 17, Commonwealth gold medal winner in Kuala Lumpur, and the American Colby Pierce, he can go well. And there, Mikhail Ignatiev of Russia, the man that lapped the field 3 times when he won the gold medal in the points race in Athens. So much talent in this race, and there is the Manx Express himself, Mark Cavendish. 11 road wins to his credit last year, one of the fastest men on the planet when it comes to a sprint at the end of a road race. Well, this is why there's been a hold-up. Vasily Kirienka of Belarus, I think he had to change a wheel. Better to get the thing organised and get it right before we start. He's a good rider as well, Kirienka, 26 years of age. He got a bronze a couple of years ago in Bordeaux. So we're almost ready to start now. I'll talk you through the rules, how the race works, as soon as they've rolled away. There's Kaiser. Had a busy winter, Kaiser. He's ridden in about 11 6-day events. Kirienka, the late arrival. Full house again here. The atmosphere's tremendous. And just to repeat my earlier comment, Prince Edward is here, enjoying the 2-wheel action. That's the young Australian, that's Cameron Mayer. Gary Sutton will have something to say about him. There's the chief executive, Peter King, and right at the side of him is Prince Edward. There he is. Away we go. It'll be a neutral lap, and when they get back to the line, the gun will fire, ready for the 160-lap tear around the boards here to define who is the king of the points race. It's one of the most demanding races, and I couldn't have a more qualified expertise commentator sitting alongside me than Gary Sutton of Australia, who was the world amateur champion, and he was twice the world silver medalist at the pro level as well. One of the finest points race riders. So away we go, 160 laps, it's 40 kilometres. Let me just tell you the way it works. There are sprints every 10 laps. The riders score points. They get 5 for a first, 3 for a second, 2 for third and 1 for fourth. And of course, they amass as many points as they can. The rider who has the most points at the end of the race is the winner. There is another anomaly to this. If you gain a lap, you get a bonus of 20 points to add to that. And that really is the rules. Oh, those are the rules. Pretty simple, really. And already the pressure's on.
Well, they haven't messed around. The gun went, and straight away they started attacking. And so we're in for a great bike race here. I think what Mark Cavendish needs to do, I mean, he's got the Madison tomorrow night. You get yourself to the halfway mark, hopefully put yourself in a good position for some good points on the board or a lap with other riders, and that's Mark, as we speak, looking nice and relaxed there. And if you're in a good position at the halfway mark, obviously you fight right to the finish, but if not, he would need to save as much energy as he possibly can for the Madison tomorrow night. So the speed just dropping back a little bit now. I'll just cruise around here for a bit. And what frightens me, or what I get very nervous about in these races these days, is when they do ease up, they all go to the fence, and that's when the attacks do start, and the gaps start to open up. And it's a bit like sprinting, but a very long sprint.
What I don't want to see with Mark is him trying to bridge gaps if he misses moves and expending a lot of energy, which could be costly for the Madison. If he's going to try and sneak away to gain a lap, he needs to mark out one or two of the favourites who are experienced at this event and capitalise off them. Now, one of the cutest riders when it comes to points race riding is Juan Linares. He just floats around in the wheels. He's like a shadow. You never see him. And then he just suddenly appears and goes for the lap. He's racing with race number 9 on today. And Linares was the winner last year, and he's probably one of the best points race riders of all time. 4 times the world champion, twice the World Madison champion, and he won the gold medal for this points race discipline quite magnificently, actually, in Sydney. He got a silver as well in Athens, so that underlines the pedigree of the talented Spaniard, who is now actually 37 years of age, but he's still got the good legs. So the field still all together. 2 laps to go to the first sprint. Kirienka, the late arrival, because of that puncture and a wheel change, has moved into 2nd place. Bell signals the first sprint. They are going down the back straight full on here for the first sprint. And it looks like we're going to get Kirienka trying to pick up maximum points. That's the result of sprint 13. Now 2 points for Kirienka is going to be useful because it means he's moved clear of Shep, who he was tying with. Henderson is beginning to menacingly look very strong, and Mayor of Australia is still in the hunt, and this group is forming again now, and Shep has once again slipped back. Now this is not good riding by the Dutchman. He worked hard to get up to that group, and now he's once again slipped back, although it does look as though there's going to be a general regrouping here with 27 more laps to go.
Well, if it does regroup, he's going to be very lucky because Linares was on the front then. Yes, and you're right, it did come back together. And here we see the Olympic champion again, trying to stir things up, trying to create something here. Linares there. They're all swinging up and down the track. Gap starting to open up. Now, if these two get together, then we're in for a real bike race because they will not ease up at all.
Well, the brace of riders that are going away now are the Olympic champions for the last 2 games. The man on the front, Ignatieff won the gold medal in Athens, and the man in his wheel, Linares, won the gold medal in Sydney. But Greg Henderson, who won the gold medal at the Commonwealth Games in Kuala Lumpur in 1998, is bringing them up because he doesn't want to see those two go away, because Henderson at the moment is sitting in a very sweet position, challenging strongly for bronze. So with 24 more laps to go in this men's points race, Kirienka of Belarus is leading on 21 points, with Peter Shep of the Netherlands second on 19. Henderson of New Zealand is third on 15, and Mayer of Australia is tying with Riblon, 13 points each, fourth equal. Mark Cavendish of Great Britain has scored just 3 points, and he's in 11th equal position at the moment.
Well, a good move there from Cam Meyer there. Big effort.
To go in this men's points race, and sprint number 14 is now beginning to unfold, and it's Mayer of Australia that's leading it out. He's lying 4th equal at the moment on 13. Mayer coming up to the line to take 5 points, 3 going to Ignatieff of Russia, 2 to Kirienka, and the 1 point at the head of the field goes to Greg Henderson of New Zealand. Now then, that is going to affect the overall slightly as we're now getting nearer and nearer to the finish of this 160-lap points race. There is the result confirmed, and the call was right. Mayer gets the 5, as you can see, from Ignatieff the 3, Kirienka the 2, Henderson getting the 1 point. Now, it means the overall situation now, with 2 sprints to go, is Kirienka of Belarus has got a 4-point advantage over Shep of the Netherlands. Meyer is in the bronze medal position for Australia on 18. Henderson is lying 4th on 16. And Mark Cavendish at the moment equal 12th with 3 points. So the medals here could change direction. Kirienka has got that 4-point advantage, and with the strength that he's got, I can't see anybody denying him gold. He's ridden magnificently ever since the start, and he's figured in nearly every sprint.
Well, a lot will depend on whether they all come back together here and they all go to the top of the fence. If Shep can make it back here and win the last sprint, or win a sprint, at 10 to go, it will certainly put him in a good position, but a lot of hard work to be done yet. We now have the French rider, Riblon, there, starting to stir things up. He's opened up a gap of around about 60 or 70 metres, and the field oozing off again. Come around this time to get 15 laps to go. If he can stay away, pick up 5 points, that's certainly going to put him in a good position on 18 points, with the race leader at the moment on 23, Shep on 19, Meyer on 18.
And what's happening in the race at the moment, all the key players are beginning to mark each other out, and he's playing nicely into the hands of Riblon. Now then, could he steal a lap in the closing stages here? Nobody prepared to take it on at the head of the field. It's the rider from Denmark that's at the head of the main bunch, and that is Jorgensen, and at the moment Riblon is still clear. Can't see him being able to gain this lap. I don't believe that Kirienka is going to allow this after leading the race for so long. Ignatieff doesn't like it at Russia, and he's gone to the front. No, he doesn't continue, and the crowd are beginning to get behind Riblon now, because this is going to go all the way. He's got almost half a lap advantage, the Frenchman Riblon. Is he going to steal the gold medal in the closing stages? It'll be the bell this time for the penultimate sprint. He'll get 5 points here. It'll take him to 18, which will make him tie with the Australian Meyer for the bronze medal if Meyer doesn't get any points in the charge for the line now. Colombia leading out the main field. Riblon is coming round now for France for the 5. This is the charge at the head of the field. Riblon's coming down the finishing straight. There he is. He gets the 5. Thank you very much. That takes his tally up to 18. Now then, over the line for the 3 is the rider from Colombia, and he got the 3 points. And that was Arango, and it looked like Kadlec to me in 3rd spot. So this isn't going to really alter the overall position to the top, although Kadlec has moved up as well. Kirienka was there. In fact, the result is Riblon for 5, Jorgensen, Kasper Jorgensen was up there, Kadlec and Kirienka. So what it means is, with 1 sprint to go, Kirienka has got an advantage of 5 points over Shep, and Meyer of Australia's got 18, tying with Riblon of France. So they're going to be watching each other like hawks in the final sprint, but this guy's got a 5-point advantage, so he can only be tied with, if Shep was to get the 5 and tie with Kirienka, it would mean that Shep would win the title, because it is where you finish in the final sprint if there is a tie. But Kirienka has gone off the front. The rider from Belarus has gone off the front here.
He's gone off the front, but we're looking at Riblon at the moment, because if this main group hesitates, he's going to pick up 20 points here and be the leader of the bike race. So with 5 laps to go, it's all starting to happen.
It's a cliffhanger. Now then, if Riblon can get it, he really is having a go now. Look at this, he's pulling and tugging on the bars. He wants more energy. Kirienka's off the front, and he knows he could lose the gold medal here. Within 1 kilometre of the finish of the race, Linares of Spain's not doing Riblon any favours. He's gone to the head of the field and lifted the tempo. He's not going to make it. Or is he going to make it? It's going to be so close. This Frenchman's trying so hard. 3 to go this time. The crowd are literally trying to lift him around to catch the back of the main field. I don't think he's going to do it. He's going to fail by a slender margin. But if he gets 5 points here anyway, he'll go up into 23 points, and that will put him in the silver medal position, because it would only leave 3 for second, and if Shep got that to 22, he wouldn't make it. They've eased back again, but there's only 2 laps to go. Well, there's drama here at the Manchester Velodrome. They're hoping and wishing that the Frenchman could do it. The crowd are really getting behind him. It'll be the bell this time. He'll win the final sprint, but he won't win the overall gold medal, or the overall race for the gold medal. But it was a courageous effort in the closing stage. He's already celebrating. Here he is, look. He's asking for applause from the crowd. Riblon is going to come up to the line here, get 5 points, and it means that he will be up to 24. Sorry, he will be up there to 23, which will give him the silver medal. Second place, oh, let me just tell you, second place there was Marcotto of Italy, but third was Kirienka, and that means that Kirienka will take the gold medal, but there he is, the world champion. This man here, Riblon, will be up into silver with 23, which was an astonishing finishing effort. And I think because of the finishing positions there where Campo Wong got third, let's have a look at it, yes. Campo Wong finished third. Wong Campo, I should say, got third for 2, and Greg Henderson picking up the 1. So what it means overall is that Kirienka is the world points champion with the gold medal, and that phenomenal, courageous effort in the closing stages proved to be fruitful for Riblon of France because he gets the silver, and Shep of the Netherlands ends up with the bronze, 1 point ahead of young Cameron Mayer of Australia.
Well, Victoria eased into the quarter-finals and then comfortably booked her place in the semi-finals with 2 decisive rides against Yvonne Higenaar of the Netherlands. The Dutch rider tried to get away from Pendleton, but the world champion had more than enough to safely go through. Well, now to the medal finals of the men's sprint, and we'll see Chris Hoy ride for gold in a couple of moments. First, though, here's how the bronze was decided.
This is the lineup for the bronze medal, race 1. Italian-French clash here. It's Michael Bourgain of France, nearest to us, and Roberto Chiappa from Italy. Bourgain in the bronze medal position last year in Mallorca, and the silver medal position in Los Angeles 2005. Chiappa's been around a long time, but to the best of my knowledge, I can't recall him winning a medal in the senior world sprint competition. He has been a world champion for the tandem discipline and the sprint at junior level. Which way is this one going to go?
I think Hogan will have too much speed, but it's not about speed, it's about doing it right, and Chiappa is the most experienced. He would like to lead out, I think, Chiappa. He sort of sucks him in a way where you think he's absolutely flat stick, but he's not. And then he just powers into the bend and out the bend there before the finish. Slips underneath, as we said. So just starting to wind it up. But the Frenchman, no panic there. He likes a long sprint. He's very quick, slips underneath. Well, that's a good move there. Oh, a little bit of a switch as well, which is probably a little bit unnecessary. Chiappa out of the seat. He wants to take the lead. Good move from Chiappa. Another nudge there as well. They come up to get the bell this time. I think Chiappa's going to do it very, very tough from here.
Bourgain is leading it out, and the Italian's got a lot of work to do here. I thought Chiappa was going to take this quite comfortably, the big fella from Italy, but it looks like Bourgain is going to draw first blood and win race 1. He does, so Bourgain of France wins race 1. Well, there's Chris Hoy, fully concentrated now. He's going to have to try and find a formula here to beat the young Frenchman, Kevin Siriou. Siriou beat Chris Hoy 2-0 in the final of the World Cup in Copenhagen in February. No doubt Hoy will have that in the back of his mind, but he's so fired up here, I think he has an excellent chance of beating the speedy Frenchman. Well, Craig McLean, fellow Scot, won the silver medal in Bordeaux in 2006. He lost to Theo Bos of the Netherlands on that occasion. And the last time gold was won by Great Britain in the sprint was back in 1954 in Cologne, Germany, when the double was completed. Reg Harris won the Pro Crown, and Cyril Peacock tidied up the amateur sprint. Now, of course, there's just one, and it's called the Elite Open Class. So Hoy at the front. Doing
everything right here, Chris Hoy. Just leading out, getting quicker and quicker. He knows he needs to lead out to beat the Frenchman. He's starting to pick it up. 1.5 laps to go. Well, a big move around the outside here.
Now Chris has got to dig deep here and try and hold off the speedy Frenchman who's got the front. Now then, Hoy, he's still good at racing and chasing a wheel down, but he's so quick, he's Silio. Now then, can Chris Hoy come back at him into the finishing straight? Now then, this is where Silio is quick, but also is Hoy. Oh, on the line! It was so close. The final lunge for the line. Well, Silio was maybe just fractionally ahead, but I don't know. He threw the bike at the line, did Chris Hoy. It's going to be very, very close indeed. It will need to go to a photo. This one, let's look at it. On the line, I think Hoy got it. That has just come up on the big screen and the crowd have gone absolutely potty here. Chris Hoy has won race 1. He's on his way to the possibility of the gold medal in the men's sprint. Face of Roberto Chiappa of Italy. A bit of a problem on his mind here because he's got to try and beat this fella, Michael Bourgain of France, in race 2, the contest for the bronze medal. And just sitting calmly in the holding pen in the middle of the track are the two that will race it out for gold and silver, and that is Silio of France and Chris Hoy. They're just composing their thoughts, teeing themselves up for a tilt at the sprint gold medal. Meanwhile, let's get this one tidied up for bronze. Bourgain rode Chiappa perfectly in race 1.
What Chiappa needs to do here is try and pin him on the fence, as we have watched in the earlier rounds. Chiappa is the most experienced of the two, but he's going to need that experience to beat Bourgain. And they're starting to wind it up. The French rider doing everything right here. You need to give a bit of distance where you can make a run at your opponent as well. And I think Chiappa is going to be in a little bit of strife this time, although
he's going to have a go from the front, and it'll be a long one if he starts to wind it up now. They've got a lap and a quarter to go. Chiappa has opened the door, and Bourgain has said thank you very much, and he's gone down the inside. Now, he could pay dearly for that, believe me. Now then, they're fully committed down the back straight, and Bourgain looks to have the measure of Chiappa there, and really it was the Italian's fault. It was an academic error there, and he's not going to get back in the hunt here. Bourgain takes the bronze medal, and Chiappa finishes 4th, but really that was an elementary mistake. He opened the door, and the Frenchman was underneath. Now then, this is Chris Hoy. He's won race 1. And he has the power and strength to make his mum and dad there very, very happy indeed. And his girlfriend Sarah is also watching here. There we are, the green marker tells us that Chris Hoy is 1 up. He'd waited 54 years for a chance to win the gold medal in the sprint. And Victoria Pendleton, who is the reigning women's sprint champion, is trackside giving Chris Hoy maximum support. So there's been a drought, as I say, 54 years. The last time we were on the top spot on the podium. Kevin Silio of France here on the inside. He is 12 years Hoy's junior. Chris Hoy, as Victoria Pendleton was saying earlier in the interview, has switched disciplines quite magnificently. When you think he was the ultimate champion in the kilometre, he then won the Keirin last year because the kilometre was taken out of the Olympics, and now he's got a chance to win the sprint. What a talented track rider he is. Silio at the front, leading this out. Big, powerful Scot, Chris Hoy, getting himself organised for what is arguably going to be the greatest 1.5 lap sprint of his life if he can nail this one. It's getting towards the sharp end of this gallop. Now then, coming up to the line, 1 lap to go. Silio of France is leading this out. Well, Hoy closed him down in race 1 and got round him, and I'll tell you what, Hoy's already up to the side of Silio here. He's on the shoulder, and they're coming down the finishing straight. Is he going to do it? strength. Victoria Pendleton clapping her hands for her teammates, and there's his mum and dad, Carol and David, and the whole of the stadium are on their feet here, applauding Chris Hoy. 54 years we've waited to win the gold medal in the sprint competition. It was back in 1954 in Cologne, Germany, when Reg Harris won the Pro Crown and Cyril Peacock tidied up the amateur gold medal. But tonight it belongs to this man, Chris Hoy, the reigning keirin champion at the moment, 4 times winner of the gold medal for the kilometre, and he's now the world sprint champion. Where is this story ever going to stop? And he's celebrating with the Union flag wrapped around his shoulders, and I tell you what, I've almost got tears in my eyes here. He is the ultimate athlete, the personification of class and dedication, and all that hard work has paid off now for Chris Hoy. I was wondering if he was going to be able to beat Siriu, having lost to him 2-0 in Copenhagen in the World Cup, but I tell you what, it was wiped completely from his memory. Took the young Frenchman on, never made a mistake, and there's his girlfriend as well. That's Sarah, his girlfriend, Carol, his mum on the right, and on the left, his dad, David, and a kiss for his girlfriend as well. Aren't these wonderful, wonderful moments, cherished moments, and what a privileged position I'm in here. And the moment of calling his kilometre win in Athens, which to me was the greatest gladiatorial challenge for the kilometre. And now this mighty, powerful, wonderful athlete, a true ambassador for our sport, has won the gold medal for the sprint. Well, where's he ever going to stop? He's the ultimate. Now, what's he got here? Look at this. Chris Hoy, the real McCoy. And the Saltire is on there as well, of course, the Scottish flag. He's a proud Scottish, Chris. He's also a Commonwealth Games gold medalist. Well, he's just won he's won everything, hasn't he? His trophy cabinet is bursting at the seam, but is still as hungry as ever for success. And there will not be one seat vacated in this stadium, I can tell you, till the presentation ceremony has been concluded. And I hope the roof on this stadium is firmly secured, because it's likely to blow off when they put their hands together after the national anthem. Chris Hoy is the world sprint champion, and the whole of the coaching crew are gathering. Ian Dyer, their sprint coach, giving him a nice big hug. And there we are, warm congratulations from Kevin Siriu, the young Frenchman, for silver. And he acknowledges that Chris Hoy conquered him, and conquered him in some style. What a fruitful World Championships for him. And Victoria Pendleton, as sporting as ever, will be trying to replicate that position in the women's sprint tomorrow, and you can bet your bottom dollar that Chris Hoy, between his keirin rides, will be there to support Victoria. So Chris Hoy now in the middle, chatting to Jill Douglas.
Oh, our hearts are in our mouths, Chris. That was a sensational ride. My goodness me, that's the Grand Slam of sprint titles. You've won the team sprint, you've won the kilo, you've won the keirin, you've won everything there is to win in the sprint events at the World Championships. How does this one rate?
Oh, this is right out there with anything I've ever done before, including Athens. To win a world title in front of a home crowd, it's hard to put into words, and to have my family there with me. My girlfriend, it's her birthday today as well, so I thought I'd get that as her present, a little gold medal.
I can't believe that was even in your mind when you set your foot on that track. But Ciro is a very powerful rider. At what point did you think you had him?
At no point, really. You can't be complacent, and I just try to forget about all the other things, all the other aspects of the distractions and the pressures, and really just focus on my ride. And the advice from Jan and Ian, the coaches, you know, have been invaluable. There's no way I'd be standing here right now without their help. You know, I've always had good speed, but I've never had the tactical ability, and I've had the best coaches to help me get there.
It's an incredible story. We've talked a lot about Rebecca Romero, of course, moving sports and coming and winning a world title. You've had to concentrate for years on a kilometre time trial where it's you against the clock. To go into an event like this, which is obviously completely different tactically, how hard has it been?
It's not been easy. You know, kilo riders do have a reputation for being a bit stupid, and you know, I was no exception to that, really. You know, just having the power but not really being sharp mentally. So thankfully, you know, I've managed to learn relatively fast, and with Beijing coming up, you know, it's hopefully a realistic medal chance now too.
Well, of course, this leaves you with this interesting situation where you go into Beijing, looking at potentially the keirin, the sprint, the team sprint. How on earth do you train and focus for 3 events like that?
Physiologically, it's very similar. The attributes you need for the team sprint carries across to the other 2 individual events. It's the psychological side of it and the ability to be able to get up every morning after each race, whether it's a good one or a bad one, and refocusing and going again. And tomorrow I've got the keirin, so that'll be another test to see if I can A, get my legs to move again, and B, get myself psyched up. But no doubt it'll be a problem at all with the crowd we've got here. They've been absolutely fantastic. You know, it's like having an extra bit of a push from behind when you come up the home straight.
How on earth do you now go wind down, take a bit of a break, and then think about the keirin tomorrow?
You just have to, really. You know, it's not easy to sleep after a big day like today, but you know, we had to do it in Athens and team sprint in Kilo, and it's just like you try and treat it like another race, like a World Cup. But this is such a special night, you know, it's going to be hard to switch off. Well,
congratulations. Go and get a good rest, and we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. But well done, Chris. Fantastic performance. Great stuff.
The 2008 World Champion and winner of the gold medal.
Gold medal winner and champion of the world, representing Great Britain, Chris Hoy.
Well, my goodness me, 6 gold medals, top of the medal table, just an incredible achievement from Great Britain. And the question everybody wants to ask is, can this be sustained through to Beijing?
I think it can. I mean, going on last year, 7 medals. We're on target to do the same again this year. It's 5 more months to the Olympics. I know everyone in the team, and I know their form, and I'm sure we can.
What kind of message does this send out to the rest of the world? I know it hurt the Australians particularly last year in Palma, and they must be looking at this British team and thinking, where have we gone wrong? Why is it that Great Britain are riding so high?
Yeah, I'm sure they're frustrated. I mean, they had a fantastic Athens. You know, they were by far probably the best athletes. So, you know, I'm sure they're frustrated, but it is, you know, it comes around in cycles. It's, you know, you have good athletes for years, and sometimes it can take a few years before you get exceptional athletes come up again. But thanks to British cycling and world-class performance, all the young athletes we're coming up, you know, we've got them for every Olympics coming up, so bring it on.
Well, Rebecca Romero was all over the headlines this morning. I suspect tomorrow it'll be a certain Chris Hoy. Just a word on his achievement tonight.
It's phenomenal. I mean, to go out there one-on-one, it's really hard mentally, you know, especially, you know, wasn't his forte, and just goes to show you his strength. I mean, the guy's a phenomenal athlete. He trains his everything off, and you know, he's proved it tonight. I didn't have a doubt in my mind, and it worked out perfect in the final. I mean, his opponent, Kevin Sirot, was a fantastic rider. He is also very young, and he's a phenomenal athlete. So, but he gave Chris the perfect lead out, and Chris took advantage of that and picked him on the line both times.
Well, thank you very much, Jamie. A powerful display from Chris Hoy. We'll see him in action in the keirin tomorrow. Also, Bradley Wiggins back on the track in the Madison, and of course Victoria Pendleton in the women's sprint. We're on air from 1 o'clock on BBC One. Well, we've waited 54 years for a British men's sprint champion. Well worth the wait, I'd say. We'll see you tomorrow.